Annexure B, pie charts. So you need to know again what type of graph this is. It says comparison of the 5 best-selling vehicles in South Africa, America, Canada for 2021. So it's 3 comparisons that we have. And yet again, we've got the keys. Okay? And then we've got the total number of vehicles that are sold. We've got Toyota, Ford Ranger, Isuzu D-Max, VW Polo Vivo, VW Polo, Honda, Chev, and so on and so forth. So if you're a car person, you will know what is being spoken about. So that is then our annexure that we are working with for question 4.2. Let's look at the questions. The pie chart. Okay, that's nice. We're already being told it's a pie chart, so we're not going to be asked what type of graph this is. On annexure B, compares the 5 best-selling vehicles in South Africa, America, Canada for 2021. Use annexure B to answer the questions that follow. Write down in words. There we go. I've been waiting for this question. Let's see how we're going to tackle it. Write down in words the total number of vehicles sold in America. You need to know how to write your numbers in words. Whenever I mention this to learners, it sounds like I'm joking. I am not joking. It's a question that comes up. So let's go see the total number of cars sold in America. This is America. And this is the total number of vehicles that are sold in America. So I'm first going to write down this number as the number. Okay? So that I can remember what to do with it in terms of words. Again, it is not a joke. Look at that. 2 marks out of 150 are asking you to write down a number in words. So I'm going to write the number first. So some learners will say 2584176. Learn how to say your numbers out because it paralyzes you when you don't know how to say your numbers out. And it's a bit tricky, you know. So a nice thing that you can do when you are trying to figure out what the number is, count 1, 2, 3 from the back, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. Okay? So that tells me that's a million because a million has 6 zeros. So I know that this is 2 million. So 2 million. Don't be too fussy about your spelling. You won't get penalized for spelling. Okay, so 2,584,000 584,000. Also, whether your comma is there or not is not really important. But then if you want to put your comma, where I'm pausing is where I'm putting my comma. So that's 2,584,000. There wasn't a pause there, so there's no comma. And now I pause. 176. And 76. You'll be amazed at the type of answers we find when we get a question like this. You'll be so amazed. So know how to do that. Express as a ratio in the form something is to something is to something. So sometimes a ratio is 2 things, sometimes the ratio is 3 things, sometimes the ratio is 4 things. The number of Toyota RAV4s sold in America, Canada, and South Africa. So I'm going to write all the numbers next to each other. Always put them in the order that they are being asked in. So you can see, ne? That's the order. I'm being asked America versus Canada versus South Africa. Don't change the order according to, oh, this one's bigger, so I'm going to start with this one. Let's go to America and see the number of revs sold first in America. In America, it's the solid. So if it's the solid, let's go back and see what I'm talking about. So there it is. In America, the Toyota Rev there it is, Rev 4, ne? Is solid. So it's going to be this. That's what it's going to be. In Canada, again, it's solid, nice. So there's no contradiction. It's going to be that number. And I did say that you need to write them in the order in which they are being asked in. Okay, so that's very, very, very important. So we know the order is America, is to Canada, is to South Africa. So 1, 2, 3. South Africa, Rev 4 Toyota, solid again, and that's the number for it right there. So I'm going to write my numbers as I am asked to write them, which is 407,739 is to 61,934 is to 36,085. So it's important for me to write them exactly as they are given. Also, it's not asking me to write it in simplified form. Do you see? I'm not being asked to write it in simplified. I'm not being asked to simplify it. But if I am given the opportunity to simplify it, I would do that. So that's 407,000. But also because these numbers are quite tricky, it would be quite a lot of work to do for 2 marks. Is to Canada, which is 61,934. And you can see you've got even numbers and odd numbers, so it would be quite tricky. 36,085. Okay? So that is it. Those are my 2 marks. Remember, always write it in the order it's given in. Don't say, oh, the gross started with South Africa, so I'm going to start with South Africa. No, don't do that. Write down the median number of the best-selling vehicles in South Africa. Median. Pay close attention to what I'm about to say to you regarding medians. A median is the most middle number. So sometimes I get a laugh when I say it's the most middle number. And the reason why I mention that it's the most middle number is because before you find the median, you need to first arrange your numbers in ascending order. You remember that word? Ascending, descending. Ascending is going up, meaning you're starting with the lowest to the highest number. Descending, you are starting with the highest number, moving all the way down to the lowest number. So now, whenever we find the most middle number, which is the median, we need to start with the smallest number and take it to the highest number and then take it from there. So let's go to the best-selling cars in South Africa. So the best-selling cars in South Africa, if I look at what's going on over there, and I need to arrange that in ascending order, this would be my smallest number. So that would be the first number. This would be the second number, third number, fourth number, and fifth number. Okay, so let's go right into it. Okay, I think I've made a bit of a mistake here. Let's see. A bit of a mistake here. So let's see. That's 1, 2, 3. So 4. And 5. So that's how I would arrange my numbers. And in me arranging my numbers like that, let us go and write them down. Okay, let's go write our numbers down in the order that I've given them in. Okay, so I said that we're going to start with 16,426. Then it's 18,235. Then it's 19,077. And then it's 21,082. 887. And then I'm going to actually try and write it right next to it like that. 36,085. Now my numbers are in order. Okay. So it's important now for me to determine how many numbers I have. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. That's an odd number of numbers. And if I've got an odd number of numbers, it simply means that I am able to find exactly one median, hence the 2 marks. So I need to have an equal number of numbers on both sides. So what some learners do, which I find really helpful, is that they'll start cancelling. So if I cancel 1 this side, I'll cancel 1 this side. If I cancel 1 on this side, I cancel 1 on this side. And I'm left with that number, which is my most middle number. So therefore, my most middle number is 19,077. That's the median of cars. Okay, so that's a nice method to use there. Determine the number of Ford F-Series vehicles sold in Canada. Let's go see what Ford F. So it says to us here, everything is sorted. So this would be the Sierra. Excuse my pronunciation. That would be the Sierra. That would be the Chev. And then that, which is plain there, would be the Ram pickup. And then that over there would then be the unknown that we are being asked about. So we've got all the other numbers, and then we've got that one that we are being asked about. So what you need to know when it comes to pie charts is that every pie chart is actually out of 100%. So all these numbers are actually out of 100%. But that's not even important because we've already been told the total number of cars that are sold there. We've already been given the total number of cars that are being sold there. So all we are doing is taking the total number of cars and subtracting all the ones that are given, and it will give us X there. I'm using X again. I know we don't like using X, but it is what it is. So let's go and do that. So I'm first going to start with the total number of cars there. It says in Canada. So total number of cars is 357,243. 343. That's what we have initially. And then we need to subtract all these other ones. So if I'm subtracting, it's either I add or I subtract. I should still get the same answer. So I'm going to start at 51,684. Oh no, shouldn't do that. Plus 53,757 plus 61,934 plus 73,467. So that's exactly what you should do. Let's go put that in our calculator and see what it gives us. It's a lot of work, isn't it? I'm going to put everything in my calculator. 357,243 minus, I put everything else in my brackets. So that's going to be 51,684 plus 53,757 plus 61,000, let's just see, there is no 61,934 plus 73,467. Just be careful to have all your numbers in there. That's 116,401. 116,401. So that's going to be the F series, Ford F series. Okay. The interquartile range. Ooh, okay, you need to know what this means. For the top 10 vehicles sold in South Africa is 7,669, and the value of quartile 1 is that. Calculate the value of quartile 3. First things first, you need to know that interquartile range, which is IQR, is equals to Q3 minus Q1. Okay, my 3 is looking a bit dodgy there. Q3 minus Q1, that's IQR. So I have been given the interquartile range already, and I've been given Q1 already. So this is a trick question. We are always used to calculating IQR, but we are never used to calculating the other values. So if ever you are asked a question like this, just know it's a higher order question, which means you are solving for X. This is like solving for X basically. Okay? So if my interquartile range is, I just substituted there. And I don't know what Q3 is because I'm trying to sort it out. But I know what Q1 is, which is 11,408. I know that. So because I'm already given that value over there, I can then move this number over to here to find that number. So because it's negative, when it comes to the other side, it becomes positive. So it's 7,667 plus 11,408, which is going to give me the value of, look at that, it's 4 marks. So because it's 4 marks, you're going to be putting in the work for it. Whenever you've seen a lot of marks, just know, get ready to work. We are here to work. 7,667 plus 11,408. That's 19,075. 19,075. So that's 19,075. That's Q3. Question 4.2.6 says to us that the inflation rate, inflation means that there was an increase on the price that is given. So the inflation rate in America for 2021 was 7%. That means from the 100% which is already given, we are actually adding 7%. So it means that the new price is going to be 107%, if that makes sense to what is being said. And then in 2020, so also what we need to remember when it comes to a question like this is that this is now from 2020 to 2021. So that is the inflation that we are experiencing, okay? And then it says in 2020, it was then 1,4. So meaning here, we are then working with 100 plus 1,4%, which is the same as 101,4%. And this, because we are being told about 2020, it means it was from the year 2019. Okay, so it was from 2019 to 2020. Very important for us to understand exactly what is going on here. So it says to us here, then in 2022, the price of this vehicle was 32,332. The question then says, it is stated that the price of the Ford F-Series vehicle in 2020 was more than 29,800. So this question is asking us to verify what the initial price was, basically. So we need to work it backwards. And if we are going to work a question like this backwards, what we are going to do is that we are going to use what we are given, because there's nothing else that we can use. We use exactly what we are given, which is $32,332, and then we need to multiply this with 100 all over this. So remember, we are working backwards. Okay, so that's going to be 107. This is all percent, but don't put percent in your calculator, please. Actually, let me remove the percentages because that leaves a lot of room for interpretation. So let's go put that in our calculator. So once we have this 32,332 multiplied by 100 all over 107. So then it means that is then the price of the year before that, which is going to give us 30,216.82. Oh, sorry, it's not in rands. Remember that, please. Okay, it's in dollars. 30,000. So we're working backwards. 216.82. Okay, we're working backwards when it comes to this. Now we have to work further backwards yet again using that amount, which is going to give us the original amount. Therefore, we are now taking the amount we've just calculated, which is $30,216.82. Please remember, use this number exactly as it is. Don't round off too early. We multiply it with that 100 all over 101.4. And that is then going to tell us whether the question is asking for the correct thing or not. Use a timeline if you are not sure about what we are talking about. It's very helpful to use a timeline. So a timeline tells you in this particular case that we are working backwards when it comes to this question. That's 30,216.82, and then we need to then multiply that with 100 because it's the full amount. 100 represents the full amount. 101.4. Okay, so that's going to tell us 29,799.63. This one we can at least round off to 2 decimal places. So in us rounding it off to 2 decimal places, it's because we are talking about money. Okay, 799.63. So let's go and see. Do you see what we are getting and what the claim was? The claim said it has to be more than 29,800. What did we get? We didn't get more than that. Therefore, the claim is invalid. You can say the claim is invalid. The claim is not valid. Whatever it is that you decide that you want to use for this particular question. So the next question, determine as a percentage there again, probability. So you cannot be walking into an exam and you do not know how to calculate probability. Determine as a percentage. So already we know our probability is going to be given as a percentage in the answer. So your answer needs to be a percentage of purchasing a Ram pickup in America. Let's go back. So this is America. Again, you see how messy my paper is. Don't be scared to be messy. So that's the Ram pickup that we are talking about. So this Ram pickup. Ram pickup is this clear option over here. So we want the probability of picking a Ram pickup. And the only way we can do this is by taking this number and dividing it by the total of all these numbers together. And that will tell us the chance of us doing that. Probability is a fraction times 100. That's what probability is. It's a fraction. So let's take this number and divide it by the total number, and that will tell us the probability of picking up that particular car. So we know that the number that we are given is 500. I told you it's a fraction, eh? 569,388 all over the total. The total is 2,584,176. And then we multiply that by 100 because it needs to be given as a percentage and not as a decimal. If we were asked to give it as a decimal, we would give it as this fraction and just press SD or change. Let's go put that in our calculator. You see the importance of walking into an exam with a calculator. I see some learners walk into an exam and they have no calculator, they have no ruler, and it's just not making sure. It's not making sure. Let's see. Let's go down. 2,584,176, and then we multiply that by 100. So that's going to give you 22%,03. Again, we are not asked to write it as a full number, so just be careful to follow the instructions when it comes to rounding off. Remember how to round off as well. So question 4 was exactly 33 marks, and it was challenging to say the least because it had a lot of higher order questions. You need to be prepared. Don't walk in and think, oh, paper 1 is easy or whatever the case is. They are higher order questions that you're going to find somewhere, somehow in between. So that was question 4.